right, everyone. Welcome to this very special birthday episode of Notes with Jack. My name is Alan Fox, and I'm here with the performer of the 54 Below hit cabaret show.
Yeah.
Now help me with the title. I've still got some health, so what do I have to lose? What is
Well,
it?
wait a minute. No, was there a title? That's the opening number. I've still got my health, so what do I care? It's an old Merman number.
Sure. Okay. All right. So I want to hear about that cabaret show, man. What was that? Was that for your birthday or no? First
It
of all,
was
happy birthday.
Thank you very
You're
much.
86.
Is that right?
How do you feel? Tell me about the cabaret show.
I was thinking about how do you feel 86? You know, I feel like 85, but just a little bit over.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way of putting it.
75th it was my 75th birthday. Not my 75th year. It was
Right.
10 years ago, 11 years ago. And Scott Whitman, God bless him. I mean, I can't even know how it came up. But I always sort of thought I could do it.
Well,
And
you
he said,
perform, just so we clarify, when you were a young kid, you've told me you sang, you performed, like this wasn't out of context for you.
I've always been showing off. I mean,
Right.
I've always been showing off. I could sing, I could dance, I could, whatever you want me to do, I would do it. And it was pretty irritating, I think, for a lot of people. But I kind of enjoyed it. But this whole club thing always fascinated me. And I thought, on some level, I think I could do that. So Scott said, for your birthday, 75th birthday, I'll write you an act.
Yeah. Now wait, just quickly, was your father performed in a barbershop quartet, right? Didn't you tell me that?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did.
So he was a bit of a performer, not necessarily a cabaret performer, but it was in your blood.
Dad was fringe vaudeville.
Huh.
His best friend in Saginaw was the songwriter Gerald Marks, who wrote "All of Me." Why not take all of me? A huge, massive hit. And Gerald and there was a group called the Mueller Brothers, and they turned out to be haberdashers. They had a shop in the Bancroft Hotel where they sold clothing, but they had retired from show business. Now, I don't know a lot about the Mueller Brothers. I don't know anything about how this worked, but Dad and Judge Frank Picard, federal Judge Frank Picard, and Gerald Marks, they all were like fringe vaudeville guys, and they hung out with people in the business. And Dad was, God, he was funny. He was really funny. A spirited guy, very popular, a lot of energy.
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Well, apparently not. I mean, except that he had this reputation in Michigan of being what they called a Toastmaster. And so if you had a big event, Obie O'Brien, would go and warm up the audience. Like he'd introduce them and tell a bunch of jokes. And I don't know, but I remember when I was like 8 years old, my mother and dad took us to Mackinac Island, and we went to bed, and then they got us up like around 11 o'clock. I don't know what I'm talking about here. They took us up to the fly floor over this convention center, and there was my little dad on the microphone with this huge thing warming up the audience.
Yeah.
I don't know why that happened. I don't know how it happened, but I know it was significant enough that my sister and I were allowed to get up in our jammies and go up in the fly floor and sit down and watch this.
Do you feel like after that moment, you were like, oh, now I do this, I can do this too? Like you're sort of showing off, as you call it. Do you remember if anything clicked in that moment to where?
No, I don't think it did. No, I don't think I thought, oh, that's me 150 years from now. That wasn't in the cards. But I do remember that I was always asked to be, like in high school, the MC when they did a broadcast. And I remember Edna Lathrop, who was the wife of the chairman of the board of the education, saying to my mother, "I always am comfortable when Jack comes on stage.
Hmm.
I relax."
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was asked to do that a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Fast forward to the cabaret.
fast forward. It's my 75th birthday.
Right.
Scotty says, "I'll write you this act," and he did.
Right.
And Dazzle. Oh shoot, names just go. It's Divine, very famous piano player, arranger. I'll get it. How
Sure.
sad that I didn't put that in my mind before I started. You panic with numbers. I mean, with names. You just
Yeah.
panic.
Yeah.
And you think, "Oh my God, that's my cousin. His name
Right.
is, oh my God, what's my cousin's name?" And you
Right.
can't do it.
Anyways,
Dan Lipton.
love it.
Well, Dan Lipton
Dan-
is he's grinning right now. Thank God I saved it.
Sure.
Dan Lipton was our keyboard artist on the Full Monty. I
Okay,
got
got
him
it.
got him through Yazbek.
Yeah.
And he's a fantastic arranger and accompanist. And he put together, I think, 4 or 5 pieces.
Yeah.
I had a band.
Do you remember what the pieces were?
Oh my God. I did 90 minutes. I mean,
Yeah.
I did some James Taylor. I did I'm glad I'm not young anymore. I did I did.
It's funny. That's fun.
And here's the cool deal
Yeah.
is that it was just me, right?
Yeah.
And I had a bow tie on,
Yeah.
my signature
Shocking.
yeah, my signature bow tie. And and when you do a club act, they go out and they come back and they got another outfit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what am I going to do? So
Right.
at the minute I'm talking, I just take the tie off, put it in my pocket, pick out another tie, and tie it in front of everybody.
Wow. Okay.
I can't do that now. My fingers don't work as well. But
Sure. That's all
it
right.
was really cool.
That is cool.
And there were some really nice, very nice arrangements.
Yeah.
The last thing Scotty did was from Little Me. "Here's to us, my darling, my dear. Here's to us tonight." And they had champagne for everybody.
That's so great.
It was really cool. And a lot of really cool people showed up.
Yeah.
I did it on Friday night and Saturday night, 2 nights in
Yeah.
a row. I had a
Yeah.
cold. I sang
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah.
My dearest friend in the world, Bob James,
Yeah.
Emmy
Yeah.
winning piano player, he sat in and did a little bit of his music with the group.
Yeah.
And we sang a couple of songs that we wrote when we
Sure.
were writing together.
Sure.
It was adorable. His
Yeah.
wife, Judy, my closest friend in the world, who was on her way into Alzheimer's at that time,
Yeah.
she was there. And then they wanted me to come back the next year and do a Monday night because the people in the industry would be there.
Yeah.
But Bob couldn't leave Judy by that time, and
Sure.
it wasn't working out, so we
Yeah.
never did it again.
Yeah.
But I had 2 nights, baby.
That's pretty. That's
Patty
it's-
Lupone opened for me.
Oh, wow. That's
she
something.
didn't. She did
Right.
the 7. She did the 7 o'clock
Yeah.
on Friday nights. I said she opened for me, but she didn't.
When you did it,
But
yeah.
Hugh Jackman is doing this play at the Circle in the Square,
Yeah.
and he left his curtain call to come up to see as much of my set as he. And Mike Nichols was there with Diane.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Andre Bishop was there. It was an incredible crowd came.
It's the hottest ticket in town.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I had
Now,
a really great time. I had a good
If I
time.
did my research correctly, did you reboot it later as well? Did you do it again, or was there just 2
No,
dates?
they wanted me back the next year.
Got it.
Oh my God,
Got
look, there are balloons going on.
It's for your birthday.
Who did that?
I don't know, man. The magic AI in the sky. I don't know.
You know, when you're this age, you're just glad you're breathing, for crying
Yeah.
out loud.
I'm so
Anyway.
curious. All right, so let's jump in. You did it at 75, right?
Yeah, I did.
And for a lot of people, 75 is because this is what we always talk about with you, right? It's like you stay curious, you stay moving. It's like you tell me never quit moving forward.
I
right?
think that's true.
You do that at 75, though. You do this cabaret act. Did you
Yeah.
think for the next 11 years you would be working as often, as prolifically, as at a high level as you've been doing? Like, do you remember what it was like you doing that, that year, 75, and then suddenly these next 11 unfold? Did you see any of this, or did
There,
you
there,
feel
there,
this, or?
there must be a really good answer to that.
Sure.
I mean, this is the kind of thing why people tune in and they think, what's the secret, you know?
Well, there's no
Uh,
secret. I'm just curious.
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I know that I'm really more fulfilled when I'm working.
Right.
That I sitting in a reading a book or writing a book or having some time off is a hard thing for me to do.
Sure.
I'm programmed to work,
Yeah.
and I'm happiest when I'm doing it. I've
Yeah.
said this many, many times. I don't think I ever worked a day in my life. I think that's
Hmm.
true.
Yeah.
I just love what I do.
Just doing what you love.
Uh,
Yeah.
that's the secret, man. You know, quite frankly, if you're good at it and you're enjoying it, and your health holds up,
Yeah.
what do I knock here?
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
found
Yeah.
some wood. Yes,
Yeah.
found some wood.
Yeah.
Um, you're just the luckiest person alive, you know.
Yeah. Well,
But you
now,
do think I got to say, a lot of my friends my age, we think
yeah.
about our death a lot.
Huh.
You can't not you know it's coming.
Yeah.
Everybody can do it. It's not that
Yeah.
hard,
Right.
but
Right.
you just don't know when. And I'm just hoping I explode.
Yeah. Is that is the is the thought a fear? Is it just a knowing? Is it what when you say you think about it, what does that mean? Do you talk about it a lot? Like how does that because you and I have spoken about it very rarely, but you've brought it up a time or two. Like,
Well, I want everybody comfortable with it. I
yeah,
talk about it a
yeah,
lot because I don't want anybody getting scared or
right,
thinking, "Oh my God, what are we going to do?"
right, right,
You'll all be fine.
right,
You
right.
know, everybody, three quarters, seven eighths of my experience is gone. They're all over there, wherever that is.
Yeah,
So I'm not, and I sort of do think there's things that we don't understand. It's awfully rich to
yeah,
think this is a one act.
yeah. Does that help give you perspective on being 86? This fact that 7/8 of the people of your experience are not really here anymore?
Does it give me?
Like, does it give you a perspective on 86 that you feel like is different? I mean, what does that feel like seeing people come and then
Well,
also leave?
you certainly think, I'm not quite sure how I'm slipping through the net.
Hmm.
When I look at the people I love who have been
Yeah,
important to me in my life who are gone,
yeah,
relatives, family. I mean, there's no one left but me now
yeah.
in that aspect. I was yesterday. There was a memorial drink at Sardi's for Anne Kaufman Schneider, Georgia
Hmm.
Kaufman's daughter, who controlled that industry for all those works. And I knew her
Yeah,
because of Ellis Rabb and Rosemary Harris, and the fact that that production of If You Can't Take It With You saved our lives, kept the company going at a very bad time. So,
yeah,
but there I was in a room with a lot of people who are no longer working, and who represent a lot of quality in our business. And as I said to you, I think I said to you last night, it's like a page has been turned.
yeah, yeah,
There's a page has been turned,
yeah,
and a lot of that's gone now.
yeah,
And so you think there's a little bit of survivor guilt.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not quite sure why it's me still standing.
Well, you've talked to me before. Something I've always found really interesting when we've talked is about how, you lived through polio, you lived through AIDS. Now you find yourself living this long. It's like that's a really interesting, I think
COVID.
about life a lot of time. COVID, I think about life a lot of times as lessons that keep recurring and the way that like symbolically you're going through similar lessons. And it's interesting you have lived through all of those experiences and felt this sort of survivor's guilt.
I mean, I
I
don't
don't
want to
know.
over dramatize that because I mean, these are hard things to talk about because they're so
Yeah,
subjective.
yeah.
And then some people are saying, God, you're so full of yourself.
Well, no, but
It,
I think everyone has no. I don't agree with that because everyone has survivor's guilt in different ways.
I
If you
suppose,
come
yeah.
from a certain if you're born into a family, right, and you feel that if you're born 7 feet tall and your brother's born 6'2" and you go to the NBA and your brother doesn't, there's an element at play that's sort of like survivor's guilt to where you were blessed with certain things, and everyone gets blessed with their unique set of cards. And I feel like maybe this is just yours, but I think we all have this natural inclination to feel a little bit guilty when we see the people we love and care about not with the same hand sometimes, and they probably feel the same way about us. It's like in whatever they're doing.
I remember. in the 70s or 60s, wondering if I would live to see the turn of the century.
Hmm.
Well, did I ever?
You might make it to the next century then.
I've got 25 years on this century
Yeah.
right now, and you're thinking,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
that never occurred. I mean, my parents died when they were in their 60s,
Yeah.
and they were sort of older then than I am now in an
Sure.
odd way.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think we tire ourselves out. I think we buy into the trope that says it's time for me to stop now,
Yeah.
and I need to be stopped.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
that's
not
why
going. I'm not going to stop.
I tell people this all the time, and people look at me like I'm crazy, but I do it for a reason. I tell people all the time I don't believe in time. And I've just decided that, and I know I always tell you this, but it's like the concept of time, I think it's something you build in your mind a little bit. And
A little bit.
everyone knows days happen, right? It's like we all understand that. But I think the way you think about yourself, the way you think about the pace the world moves, all of that's kind of subjective.
There's another thing here that I have to bring in because if you're a gay person
Yeah,
without children, I
right.
mean, children help age you.
Yeah,
So I'm talking to Mike Bosser, who's got this darling little baby boy Benny,
yeah,
and he's a baby boy now, and then he's 17,
yeah,
and then he's 27, and then he's got his own industry, and
yeah,
you're the older person.
yeah,
But if you're by yourself and you don't have any children, you're just sort of free floating out there.
yeah. It is interesting. I've actually started thinking about that a lot. Not just from the child perspective, but I think by not connecting yourself in sort of, I mean, because even the idea of getting married, right? It's like that's sort of a timeline anchor. You know what I mean? It anchors
Yeah,
you to a pace because you're
yeah.
pacing now with someone else. Same thing with a child. It anchors you to a pace that life is going to move. And I think that's why it can get really subjective with how old you may feel or be.
There's also a kind of cassette
Mm,
of how you do it.
right.
You date, you get married, you have children, you get a mortgage, you get another mortgage, you move, you have an affair, that marriage breaks up. I mean,
Right.
it's like this whole thing, and
Yeah.
some people just buy into that.
Right. Did you ever, I don't know, because I think I struggle a lot with the fact that my soul or whatever never bought into it, but sometimes I wanted to. Do you know, like, I've actually had a lot of inner turmoil with the fact that, like, I wanted to belong more to something that felt a little bit more like I wasn't the only one on this island,
Yep.
but something in me kept being like, ah, that's not it, or that's not the spot, or that. Did you feel that way? Was there a time where you were trying to buy into it more?
I don't know how to. I sort of don't know how to answer that. I think. I mean, first of all, because I was abnormal, because growing up as a child in the Eisenhower years and the years that followed, I knew that I was somehow marked, that I
Hmm.
was condemned. I was a misfit. I was probably bad because I was gay.
Oh, because okay,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
And I'm not fulfilling my obligation and I'm letting everybody down. And, I had to go through all of that stuff.
yeah,
Everybody in my generation did.
yeah.
Now the kids don't think a thing about it. Or if they
Do you think
do,
so?
well, I
I,
don't know that.
I
I'm not a
that
child, so I don't.
it's funny because I there's a version I feel like of young people that are gay feeling a version of survivor's guilt when compared to you, right? Because they get to almost stand on your shoulders. You had to go through the process of, I don't want to say normalizing it, but making it more normalized. And so now they get to kind of reap the benefits. And to
That's
me, I
true.
mean, I have a version of survivor's guilt with my parents and my grandparents. You know what I mean? It's like I think we all have versions of that because we see the sacrifices they made to give us the, even if we didn't always capitalize on the
Yeah.
opportunities,
Yep.
we
Yep.
see the sacrifices they made. I feel that way with you in a lot of ways with the arts when we talk about this. We're always standing on the shoulders of the people that came before us.
There's just an astonishing group of men and women who took care of me, confided in me, were fond of me, asked me along.
Yeah.
Uh, um, I was a good audience. I was bright. I was fun. I was grateful and eager. I was a good listener. Um, but they just kept telling me stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I paid attention.
Yeah.
So I have this wealth of experience with of remarkable people I have no business knowing how I knew them
Yeah.
or having any proximity with them.
Yeah.
So you've got to realize what a lucky hand of cards that is.
Yeah.
And, whatever else is going on in my life, gratitude and joy are front and center all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that helps me to live. I think that
Yeah.
fills my balloon, frankly.
Yeah. Yeah. What about goals? What about do you feel like at this age now, because I think you've mentioned to me before that you like having things to work toward, and that also helps you keep moving through, the times when your hands are bothering you or your knees are bothering you. It's like when you have that goal, it helps you keep going. And you feel like that's become more important as of late, of having that thing that you're focused on?
Yeah, I mean, I've had an extraordinary excuse me, I've had an extraordinary schedule of events leading me forward
Yeah.
that make me show up. Um, I sort of run out of stuff this fall, but I don't think that's the end. I really don't.
No, I don't think you said something to me the other day. You're like, you always feel like, and you feel like this now, that you're doing your best work now. And I'm like, man, what a luxury. Like, that is the gift, to even feel that, to not be paralyzed by the idea that that's behind you. Like, that is a real gift.
Also, I'm sort of serious about it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm in the work and I'm thinking, that was good what you just did there. That was
Yeah.
that was helpful. I
Yeah.
helped some people. I made
Yeah.
that better.
Yeah.
Um, and it's because there's nothing like experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had so much experience.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
um,
also I also believe, man, it's the humility. I mean, we had the podcast episode from Ghost where they came to you and said, you know what, there's a part of here we're still, it may not be working the way we want. And man, I'm telling you, and anyone that's listening, I think it's episode 7 to go back and listen to that episode about Jack talking about that week with Ghost. That's been my favorite one we've done so far, because to me it's the humility to continue learning and evolving and changing what we thought. This, I get humbled. Like I told you yesterday, the project we were talking about, I was like, man, I know if I work on this, I'm going to get humbled. And that's a scary thing to walk into, but it's also how you keep growing, I think.
oh, it's really helpful. Oh, no, it's
Yeah,
good.
I think that hand in hand with the excitement is what keeps you moving forward.
Yeah, I know. Options, have options.
Hmm.
Think about options, because you're not right all the time, and you don't have to be right all the time, but you have to be alert.
Yeah.
And you have to be listening. You can't stop. You can't seal yourself off and say, I'm safe now. I know I've had it all. I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just in the moment, trying to make sense out of it.
Yeah.
It just, happy birthday, Jack. I'm really
Jack, I don't want to bury the lead. I'm in Jack's house right now recording this podcast because he has a birthday party. And
Yeah.
I just saw out the window someone's bringing you flowers up to your door.
Oh, yeah?
So I just wanted to, there's the flowers.
Can I leave?
No, you can't leave unless I don't know. I don't think so.
Bring them in.
Well,
Hello, bring them in. Bring them in. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I'm on a podcast. Can you just put them on the steps there? Oh, they're beautiful. Oh my God, that's an orchid. That is so beautiful. Just put it on the landing. Do you believe this? Can you see it?
yeah,
Thank you so much.
that's great,
Appreciate it. Coda, are you still here? Yeah, okay.
dude. Great, man. We can edit that out if we need to. We don't even need to. What's the best birthday gift you've ever gotten?
Life, another year.
What a tropey answer.
It sort of is a tropey answer, but I mean,
do you remember one from when you were a kid? Like, is there any image that sticks with you? I actually have one, and it ties to survivor's guilt. So let's see what your answer was.
well, I remember that my sister was born on the 12th of December, and so they tried to, on my birthday, which was the 18th of June, they used to give her a lot of gifts because so she wouldn't be confused about Christmas.
Yeah.
So I think there was a year when she got a bicycle and I got like a teddy bear or something. I don't.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not. I'm not a very gracious acceptor of
Yeah.
gifts.
Yeah.
I feel I've had more than my share,
Yeah.
and I'm a little embarrassed
Yeah.
when people so to give me something. I'm. I don't think. I don't think I should be getting anything.
Yeah. Does
But that
anyone, do you think anyone, this guy's bringing more flowers. Do you think anyone is good
yes, there are
at,
more flowers. My God.
yeah, dude, the whole
Oh, come
50,
in.
the 42nd
Yeah,
Street
boy.
singing a bunch of
It doesn't
flowers?
stop, does it? Just put them right down. Thank you. It's you. I guess it's my birthday. You know. What can we do? Okay. Yeah. Thank you. See, there he is again.
Yeah.
More flowers.
That's great.
That's
That's
great.
great. Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you so much. I think he's got more. He's left the door open. This is terrifying.
we'll just, I don't know what we'll do. Do you think anyone's good at receiving gifts? Like, have you ever met anyone you're like, oh, they're actually, because everyone says they're not good at that.
That's interesting, isn't it? Do I like to receive gifts? Yes. Yes. Who doesn't? Of course I do.
Right.
But the problem is right now I don't need anything.
Yeah.
You know, at this point in my life, I have everything I need.
Yeah.
I think within reason.
Yeah.
And so I would rather give out to other people or
Yeah.
ask them to do something for someone else than me.
Yeah.
I don't think that's corny, do you?
No, I don't think it's corny. I think it's what everyone evolves into at a certain point.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'd actually become really suspicious of someone your age that liked receiving gifts. Like that would be, what are you really gonna do with this toaster? You know what I mean? Like you go buy your own toaster. Like you know,
You don't need a toaster at 86.
you don't need a toaster. No, you're good. Well, that's great. All right. So I mean, what do you feel like? I don't know, man. Birthdays are interesting because I feel like you get to not only reflect on the past year, but think about the next one, right? And so as without being too corny, as you think about what you've been through this past year, which has been, because I remember this time last year, you were just getting ready to start rehearsals on The Roommate, or you were gearing up to start that process with Mia Farrow and Patti LuPone, and that was and you had this line of, you're going to do that, you're going to do Shucked, you're going to do Ghost, you're going to do The Sound of Music, and and then Hairspray was still possibly up in the air then. Things evolved, things changed, you had cast members change, you had all these different things happen in this past year.
Yeah.
As you look back, I don't know, man, what's one thing you feel like you handled really well? Is there a moment from this past year you're like, that's...
I did pretty good. The really interesting gift was Ghosts. The idea of doing that production at Lincoln Center at the end of Andre Bishop's reign with, 4 people.
Yeah.
Billy Crudup and Lily Rabe and Hamish Linklater and Ella Beatty. I mean, it was just the 4 of them, wasn't it?
No, you had Levon as well.
And Levon, of course. Yeah. Levon, yes. He's making his debut.
Yeah.
5 of them, yes. I don't know. It was such an intense, elegant, generous climate.
Yeah.
And it was a risk because that's not an easy play to do.
No. And as a witness, it's the one that caused you the most strife and pain. Like as someone watching you go through it. I don't know. I mean, there were times where I would talk to you and you just seemed so physically and mentally and emotionally exhausted, even on here.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a metaphor, it's a metaphor for all of life that you look back on that as the most rewarding as well.
I look back on it and I'm very proud of it.
Yeah.
And I think it was an unlikely thing to do.
Yeah.
And we did it in an unlikely way with a new translation about Marco Rowe, this wonderful Irish writer. It was an unexpected mitzvah.
Yeah.
People really loved it. They were astonished. No one had seen the play in a long time. Everyone behaved impeccably. I had this great design team. I look back and think, wow, that was really great. Also, Chuck just went to London and knocked them on their asses. And with an entirely British company of singers and actors who you would think have no clue as to what that musical is about, and they were the equal of any company we've ever put together.
Yeah.
So you think to yourself, I don't know.
I mean, Roommate did so well, and Mia Farrow got nominated for a Tony, which was this huge. Like, I had people talking to me about it, and I'm not in that typically that demographic of people to talk to about Tony stuff, but like, what an amazing thing for her to have that happen, and you're a part of that. It's like it's really, I don't know, it's
It
amazing,
was a
an
great
amazing
year.
year,
It was a
great year.
totally great year. Yeah.
Moving forward, you have The Sound of Music, and then you
Yeah.
said like after that, you like theoretically it could dry up, but also theoretically the waterfall comes. There's a lot of stuff in the hopper. So it's like, how do you feel moving forward in this next year? And is there something that you want to do differently from like, what's the learning experience from this past year that you take?
I'm very aware that I'm harvesting my energy.
Yeah.
That rather than saying yes, I could do anything, I'm being very responsible.
Yeah.
I can only do one thing at a time. I have a moral commitment to stand up for the things I promised to do.
Mm.
I'm going to do this production at the Kennedy Center at a very difficult time for us politically and creatively. So I find it honorable, and I find it a challenge, and I find it important that I have my wits about me and I deliver that beautifully.
Yeah.
But when you're this age, you still want to say yes to everything,
Yeah.
but you want to be responsible that I can deliver what I promise I'll deliver.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about that a lot these days.
It's funny, man, because I've even started thinking about that a lot. Not, and I know, I'm not necessarily for the age reason, but just I think sometimes I call it like the Netflix effect on society, where it's like, like Netflix, maybe you don't do this, but I feel like so many people start watching something on the streaming service and just never finish. So we
Yeah,
have, or, look at your computer browser. You have 10 or 12 different tabs opened up, and none of
right.
them you're not looking at any of them, and none of them are closed. And it's like, I think focus and attention is a finite resource. And I think we've become conditioned to just say yes because we're afraid we'll never get another chance. But I actually think you're much, much, much more effective to focus on one browser window, to watch one movie all the way through, to really like narrow your attention. Because I actually think you become much more powerful. Like you're just much better at whatever you're trying to do. So I think it's a lesson for everyone to take.
I was offered a job today,
Mm,
which I will not mention, because I said no.
mm,
Uh, it's something that if I were much, much younger, I probably would say, sure, why not? Why shouldn't I do this?
yeah,
But I realize it's difficult. The
yeah,
job is difficult. It's exacting. I'm not altogether certain I could make it happen, but I think I probably could. But I don't think it's the best use of my time right now.
yeah. Do you
I don't
feel,
think, yeah.
well, when at this age, when you say no to something, is there still a twinge of the you that was hoping to get jobs 50 years ago? Like, you know what I mean? Does that ever leave, or does it now feel more empowering, or does it feel more like you have I don't know, a new version of like, this is okay?
I remember thinking when I was very young, when I finally turn down a job because I've got enough work, I will be doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And that happened, I think, probably in my late 30s,
Hmm.
when I finally had enough work
Yeah.
and I couldn't take another job. Now I'm being very selfish
Hmm.
to make sure that I take the appropriate things, and that I can honor the contract, and that I can give my best.
Yeah.
Because how much of my best is left, we don't know.
Yeah.
I do know this is the good stuff right now.
Yeah.
I'm totally aware of that, and I'm enjoying it. But I'm not profligate either.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you have a responsibility to the people who are asking you to give them everything they deserve.
Yeah.
And if I can't do that, I won't do it. If I
Yeah.
can't promise that, I won't do
Yeah.
it. I'm a little more forgiving, I think, of that.
With what?
Myself. I'm not.
Uh,
I'm
Not being
aware.
able you mean like not being able to deliver what or like being like, okay, I can say no to this because I don't actually think I can pull it off?
Or I don't think I need to do this now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all altogether thoughtful, and I
Yeah.
like that part about it.
Yeah. That feels like it's a good place to be.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's. Why don't we call it a day, man? Because you got a big birthday
Happy
celebration
birthday
coming,
to me.
and you got
Happy birthday to me.
you
Happy
got to go
birthday.
take care of those flowers, man. And
I do.
who knows what else? All right, everyone. Well, thank you for tuning in on this special Notes with Jack birthday edition. 86 years young
And
and
still climbing.
still climbing, and many more to come. And we look forward
Thanks.
to checking in with you when you do. All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone. Thank you, Jack. We love you. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.